Jumbo, Jonah, the Chenmo, Jumbo, Yando, Zobe, Sanje, Repo, Don, Shosu, Demo, Devo, Shepo, Yuden, Jumbo, Jubo, Devian, Kano, Lana, Membo, Lado, Menon, Jumbo, Son, John de Bejo, Jojo, Tobo, no, Shansi, 就多就是学我正波就的六些是波多就波阳多波左边是日波多小时电波电话些波就电就波的月考罗就我老多没能就正波上节就的别叫我叫叫东波那上次 就多就是些我正波就的。对些些波着就波阳多波左边日波东小左电波电话些波就电就波的月考罗就我老多没能接正波上节就的。别叫我叫叫都不能相信，就多叫说些我刚才过年中，就当真是真的能过把这过，马年纪点的能就接送的这个把就能相信。那到公就多做上我，一切叫做世界人不。 找不就得所能能给我公布去年就能相子，前就电报正面的一种，先多找我就能相子，对着接着随波说话间，两面去见就能相子。 公布突击接电报，当即见面电报。 所能有的叫做些的些些了相子，大边的唱着我就给别个送的主，就多的当就这把些就就了相子，这年正月那样的老爸的那种多，先给当把一点点给的那样相子。 别把这样的家心给我别说错过，让给思念永驻的那上街的吧。干嘛着这么面当就么是我就不，没让路到真到不，这些就能得到。是能的月堂节日把也。 各邦到年解决这题，各当那当七月老主，随便错的着我着我着。
Thus I have heard. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Ultra Peak Mountain with a great gathering of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound appearance. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son of the lineage train who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva answered the Venerable Shariputra with these words. Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The five skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no phenomena. There is no quality of sight and so on until no quality of mind and no quality of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance and so on up to no old age and death and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path. No wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All of the Buddhas who dwell in the three times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom and have become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, noble Avalokiteshvara, that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of the lineage, it is so. O son of the lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra and noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva and the entire gathering, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One.
灭多嘛，多波嘛，那些嘛，个叫嘛，念嘛，大我，人不切多，说了那么叫人家。月色拉到梅叶，边角边上走，马上我面包上些月的梦，跌倒之间找我当街坡街边把电脑，当把那当切把的样把电脑嘛，当别心啊念贴把金别送着上，学业远多心康别我就。杜鹃昼夜等多些年，谢所些年，讲到送中华梦就能，他当娘别世界当见，都在我这边过，研究老多做，做一些不研究。你就也就也没有也多，多也就也多也没有一些，有也多也就也多也的，所也就也就也多。妙也的也妙也我也多也给我也诺我也多也修也诺修也莫有也就也是罗也莫。多也莫也就也诺，有也就也给也莫也诺，就也就也只也只也念，就也多也错也别。六也九也九也莫也诺，所也九也九也九也九，我也莫，我也多也多也当不着。面对那个那样，多有也没有也，我的早月那么真不见，大概修边的的就那，嘎这前边过年结束的，过送多着我着这多数，过送多着我着这多数。平素给来些月准备过，大月昼夜日望公月松，马列些家期间随便多，下节做我的老所我的，下节做我的老所我的，多节进步的些多节长。就在的罗巴达那罗巴，边疆中边巴达阿迪沙，鸟来新罗吉罗索瓦的，鸟来新罗吉罗索瓦的，上波东面一年当着的，秋天的月的当这边的。现在各山的年孙联邦，家眷就别去了所望的，家眷就别去了所望的，家人远面兄弟乐着呢，大碗找把日边不就去。三界观中泡泡有色素，三摩大月俱那所瓦的，三摩大月俱那所瓦的，协助当地中阿地下，嘎当天边面包中的见， 念旧当下过去松罗嗦，嘎当那么那罗嗦哇的，嘎当那么那罗嗦哇的，刚见西的所见中高我，我到这边我说接着的，当我天边到不给住的。要是就把这那说完的，要是就把这那说完的，就算过得那么多的长，俺老公的些年就算的，就当的梦我中正在边，这些老妈当那说完的。这些老妈当那说完的，让家苏罗跟那大爷们，给咱他把这边中安住，这边这边他跟这把爷，现在新年那那说完的，现在新年那那说完的。借我更多想当那么多，这边就这边那落雪景，撒到那这有点着作呢，多久讲给个朋友多说，多久讲给个人多一说，三节就。罗杰乔纳纳将就不多多年就做，大约就这边所难的，罗那平时上去，罗不修上去就，罗杰乔纳纳将就不多多年就做。大约就这边所难的，罗那平时上。罗巴修三界就罗杰乔那那想就波多多呢就多，大给这边做那的，罗拉平时三界罗巴修。哎呀，给你们这就嘛，你们弄，你们弄，嗯，我给你们，六十多你们，啊，给你们别十多，
단들
야,
렌도 이러지.
야, 야,
단들
차도다,
렌도.
되게 차대선도다.
아무 야가 나지래시. 아프고 근데
그때 얘다니 차시다
양서.
문도사 농고만 도와줘. 양 농도 농고 좀 쳤어.
농고 단마다 여서 말이지 단데. 타워修도 제가
야야,
좀
야, 당가서 그거 샤긴다.
그래서
진바동 지지야, 그거 못
내가 동트위스 이러면서 동트위스.
그래 줘. 아야, 아니다. 당가서. 야, 당가서 차첸서 보라. 당가서 추시 차첸 저러 저다 집어라 봐. 아. 차첸 제다도 맨도 추시에 차첸데 제가 그거를 하잖아. 양 속에 뒷바로라요. 소소 개개 세나리 그거 야보지 안지 제 투연데 제야 양 문제 제 초도
Having time to engage in the practice of Dharma is one of the most precious opportunity that one can identify or one can recognize. Relax your mind.
That's also in a character do so lang jachachi tanga so ten goes boba. Nin zambilin day no get chugi yang sessanare that ten the mando and rosa me and it taught on shiro ninja on it goes boba and shiro cha and it tomba ninja ten baby. And in the Rachi Yokokoli Johnson on it so and Gawada 100 chicheda.
Having such a wonderful opportunity to engage in the practice and following the studies of the Dharma that teaches how to practice the practice of both, or that teaches the practice of both method and wisdom. So out of these two practices, the discussion that we are having right now is the discussion on the practice of wisdom. And so one should be very delightful to be able to have such opportunity to engage in the practice and following the teachings of the wisdom. Sorry.
Oh yeah, today and it's your touch about the dumbo, and the dumbo to be on board, and the dancer you and the shen judicial number yielding. And tell along the Jibil Lamas again, the honor of Yan Nashibana, and the Sunjo Nashibas from the Dreji, and the society Mipa Chichi,
So with this, the teacher who taught these teachings is Buddha Shakyamuni, whom you will be visualizing right now in the radiating light from the body of the Buddha, and try to visualize as vivid as possible on this in the space above one's forehead.
Tandang Soso Yanala, Taji teaching Yalado, Soso Nantin, Soso Chico Solo Jimanimba, and the Taye Bisan Rangitin, Pamajibi, Rangin Drezubi, and the Rangin Mumbatsubi Senare, and the Taye Bisan Jana, and the dealing was a Kosovo and Zadala Yanda years. They are G. Then the Devatu get $10, Sosun Devatan Timber, and getting the lady years on it.
So in their presence, you are imagining that being yourself in their presence, and you yourself is surrounded by entire sentient beings without exceptions, beginning from one's own parents, relatives, and one's acquaintances, and the people in one's surrounding, and one's own, people from the same towns and countries, so that you can extend as vast as possible to the equal to the space, so that you can be able to visualize entire sentient being in your surrounding.
Need to drag me by the in the Jawala maybe Tepa, and Massangela maybe Nije, and Tepa the Nije Sosola, and it's what is a little bit on the line, and as a common needs to me by checking that.
With this, then one should cultivate a fervent devotion or the faith towards the object of refuge, and cultivate compassion towards all other sentient beings. So now with this, both faith and compassion, try one's best to bring this in a manifest level, and to have some kind of feeling, extraordinary feeling within your mind. And with this, let's remain with this feeling that let's remain for a couple of minutes.
Aye. 다 드르게 끊어 치받지 이제는 강. 다스에 바시 추세나래 는 롱년제 추되네. 상주 랑주리 바스.
With this motivation, the positive motivation influences by this compassion and faith. The teachings that we are receiving or discussing today is the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment.
다 상주 랑주리 뭐 자이 사제 시제 안 되지 손자로 자네. 니마지 랑주 자오 신이 뭐 주고 점받된 비신 저번에 저와 당하를 기바치 비시 추제 저와 저원이다 되비 줄라니 시제다 저 담방을 좀 너무 제대로 이름 바스인데 말이 친구 용수도 거기 사제 시제되는 주되버지 아니 된다 존소나 사제 시제되라 니 고아라바지 레스와이나 너를 친구 용수도 고아라바지 레도에 치버치보여로
So let's begin by reading the four major outlines of Lam Rim Chenmo, the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment. The first, the greatness of the authors given in order to show the teachings as noble source. Next, showing the greatness of the teachings in order to engender respect for the teachings, and how to listen to the teachings in which the both teachings and its authors are great. And then the fourth, the sequence in which the disciples are to the actual instructions. So this four outlines the entire contents of the great deities on the stages of the path to enlightenment is encapsulated. So therefore, when you're actually reading those outlines, you should be able to, imagine briefly about the contents of the great deities of the stages of the path to enlightenment.
제가 된도 아마서 남비종 세나리다 남비종 랑 세나미시 당가서 베지 나데 세나리 단정가서 지 토상 공소게 나나리 추저 장소게 돈의 추 냐는 제시게 냥가지 시소아이나 추생의 상제기 지 강사지 유소샤서는 라마소의 지 유소샤서는 제레면도 아 라니 고코치데 라니 라지 누비네시 돈은 로다치마도 데 줄로세데 상제라고 지게 사바조샤서는 제다 라마소의 지 사바조샤지 아니 고아데 명예 차도도 공부에 네시 랑 차도도.
So if you look at the teachings of the Dharma in general, of the Dharma teachings given by the great masters, great Tibetan masters in particular, if you look at those teachings, the teachings are all, emphasizes on practice of, receiving the teachings, contemplating and meditations. And all of those teachings that are composed by those great beings, it's not something that they're actually, it is something that is written by the one person and claiming that this is authentic teachings of the Dharma and so forth. But rather, teachings that get given are all corresponding to reality. So therefore, when you look at the teachings of the Dharma, it's not something that somebody has written or some mighty beings have written and given to us, but rather it is all to really to see how things really are, how this really is to the correspond to the reality, rather than written by one mighty beings.
당인데 다사지 제발 넘어물도 넘어졌다리 림발아니 남자 자와 신이 대비스나 되는로 지다라 상이 바니 되는로 동보리자 다 되는로 지다장이 바라니 대유되나 힘보는 비시 교와도 힘보 제단에 비수니 다 동문리자 다 힘보 제단에 비출라니 나지 나자라 힘바 지서다 힘보는 뭐지 동문리자 다 힘보는 뭐라 송 주부 충분도 대문에 나지를 만나서는 주부 전도 대문 주부 챔피언 나지人把娘生的车子他同不认得啥那主要챔피언 나지人把娘生的知道说提前了就别过升级考那点吧升级阶段级别去升级的学报路这一节他同不认得啥他升级的学报路这了说升级的学报路个别就是头些在这话了路个上级门主个点吧学报路个人把你写过去他同不认得啥다 로보로비 렘바니 시바나니 테바침버 찔러서도 제바도 도제 테발로 쓰지 다 동보라 송 상세지 로보런데 정 장내 제세지 넘버송 손에 제단에 비스 다 동보니 데다 다 손에 제단에 비스라니 나는 강로로비시 델로로보 델로 강로로비시 델로바난데 델로 제단로비 렘바지 다 델로 제단로비 렘바니 쇼바찔러로 다 제바도 파신 타만이라 쓰지 다 동보데서 다 파신 타만이라 러질라 주 이제 신의 나라도지 편시 봐 대니 땡인제 근제 되게 된 봐. 신의 나라도지 뭐 내가 감비 레 고랭이 봐. 소소 말에 대니 땡인제 근제 되게 된 봐. 아니 대니 고랭이 봐. 아니 대니 가로고 제제 네 고랭이 봐. 소소로 쓰여지. 다 동물 같은 데서 다 소소로 쓰니 신의 나라도 나도로 쓰여지.大劳动了就送的些，劳动就做点吧，一些人劳动做点吧，劳动肉都要，劳动刚比税，刚比劳动就比财去，他动不了送，长的年代就说了个说，对日周就公办这笔税就到种啊，你东北你电脑不是，他东北你电脑不是送，在河南你人就别人，在河南你电脑不别我的。他在可能你电脑这个东北这我呢你这个家我说嘛在他让讲给路些吧你东北你到我这来接车去他在了你个家我这个比较车你个家我嘛这比线路高吧是你让路下吧是当我说个家我嘛这比这没对比线路高吧是你当我说给两到三千没交些呢你想就给三千呢你从那穷人把的多 아니 대내 신내 대내 아니 손람지 아니 하도 전에 아니 조만에 폐 아니 돈이 무슨 돈에 아니 돈만에 폐네 사제게 살아 로발라 녀바도 돈이 도 비신에도 하도는 녀바도 로고 대로발라 돈바니 세대 가장 문제 제고 가장 문제 잡아라 아니 현지 가장 문제 가대 잡아래 라루이 가장 문제 가대 잡아래 아니 현지 가장 문제 때문에 저 카리어에 세대 아니 가서 카도 되네 대시
So now we are on the teachings. So we have come to the teachings on the special insight. And this is done on the basis of discussion on the cultivation of bodhicitta. So here now, by engaging in the practice of bodhicitta, in generating bodhicitta, one then enters into the path of accumulations, the small path of accumulations, in other words. And this will then further advance one's practice when the individual is cultivated this calm abiding or the shamatha, then the same individual will then enter into the middling accumulation of merits, or the accumulation of path of accumulation. And when the individual enters into the realizes that special insight, will then advance to the path of preparations. So this is how all the stages of the path, advances from one stage to another stage by developing the quality of one's realizations, by advancing quality of one's realizations. So this such a procedure or the process will be continue till the end of one's till one's accomplishment of enlightenment or achievement of one's enlightenment. So both practice of method and the wisdom must go hand in hand right from the beginning all the way to the state of enlightenment. So then here, particularly when it comes to the wisdom teachings, then there's a part where you need to understand how to identify object of negations and what other systems, object of negations, understanding the negation, object of negation established by other system, and how do we negate that particular object of negation established by the other system, and how do we come about with an object of negations on the basis of denying or negating the object of negation that has been identified by the other system. So here, the cultivation of bodhicitta is like a blueprint, or it is a foundation. An actual project will be carried out by wisdom realizing emptiness. And just by having an understanding of emptiness and having a realization of emptiness alone is not sufficient. It is not adequate enough for one to gain state of enlightenment. It requires a very stable foundation, which is shamatha, upon which then the special insight is generated. Without having those qualities, those attributes, regardless of how advanced you may be in meditation on bodhicitta, you will remain in one path. You'll not be able to, transcend from one path to the advanced level, the path that is advanced level of the path. In order to do that, one need to not only just having realization of emptiness, but having that the very emptiness that you have gained realizations will become an active antidote towards the subtlety of afflictions. It was during last Sunday at the Kyutu Monastery, during our gathering of the Medicine Buddhist Puja. One of the audience among the Tibetans had asked the question by saying that His Holiness emphasized on His Holiness the Dalai Lama actually emphasized the practice and studying and gaining a knowledge on bodhicitta and emptiness. Is how this the actual question is, he would says, by cultivating bodhicitta, is it how this bodhicitta will become a complementary factor for generating wisdom realizing emptiness? And then also how that emptiness, wisdom realizing emptiness, become a complementary factor for generating wisdom bodhicitta. This is something that we need to think of,
딱 가서 만일 해서 때로 그저 너는 라시메 비 돈이네 돈번이 담바 마이노 시 마신 된고 나세들베
다가라니,
녀다 줘면도
다가라래자, 다가라래.
어때 배제되냐
maybe
당연히 론 당연히 로야 너는 라시메 비 돈이네 돈번이 담바 마이노 시 마신 된고 나 시시 pombi 추봉이 년론로라지 rangi me bala me bang rangi me na chi she ye nya ne chue tang ji da ye ma yin ban de na chi di yang du dong an jo ro de da yang dong ba ni la da ni na shi ro chung yin pong an ji xie bin je ba ci se le je shi ge de tang ji dong ba de tang ji ye ba ma yin no xie do na de chen de lo ba da wan je de je ge do chuen de lo ba zong je na 메케나네 추장자르 데이터 매버타와이 메장 데네 신원주르 시시도 제때 양 탕체라 거원데 바 문데나네 데이세 제다 원본데다 미스 신장 동반이 된 죄데 데이시르 장심에 비테네 동반이 제때 많이 나와 시빙에 바 동반이 방원 죄데 데이터 빠나 추나 제 풍원 제위 레징에 바 년도도 안저로 제게더는지 럼보지 팀와레 제양 데네 로존나 럼보 케빙아지 제법 빠예 마룬 다니 제 남에 반에 슈주든로치 슈주도 시에시도 시송비 쇼로 린센치도 최대나 린센에서 고아도 베이데나 린센 고도检查下도
그래서这样 거기 딱딱하게 되면 그 재산 자산들 됐마다 인진되는 거.
되면은 많이 여러 채팅화에서 자신은 더 대사.
그래서 다가라 된다 게 된다 세상에 따져도 숨지.
그렇지.谢谢도 하지.
So we are on the page 148. It is the third paragraph says, in brief, if you claim that the emptiness, which is the absence of intrinsic existence, is not the sublime emptiness taught by the Buddha, and you refute it, then you will be reborn in the miserable realm due to having abandoned the true teachings, the perfection of wisdom. If you take an interest in absence of intrinsic existence, but think if there is no intrinsic existence, what is there? And then claim that all phenomena do not exist at all, you will still fall into the scam of a view of inhalations. Fall into the chasm of a view of inhalations. Similarly, Nagarjuna's fundamental treatise says, if they view emptiness in the wrong way, those of limited intelligence will be ruined. Commenting on this, Chandrakirti's clear word says, if one, on the other hand, you were to think all is empty that does not exist, then you would be viewing emptiness in the wrong way. In this way, Nagarjuna's precious Kalin says, if this teaching is misunderstood, it ruins the unwise, for they sink into the filth of nihilistic views.
야, 들어왔다. 아니, 되게 된다. 도도대 가르세고 있어서나. 아니, Shirapala soba, Shirapa Chiva Chigmare, Namba Mumbachi, Ranshi Chuba Mena Mebares, Ranshi Meba de Tombani Mare, Salayudi, Ranshi Meba de Tombani Mebada, Ranshi Meba de Mebani, the Chito Quata Zone, and Tachi to tell Gapaja Swayana, and Tombani you turned up Michene, any Shupung Lesagares. Ranshi Mebatan, Mebani, you are the Shematuayana, Tombani Latanian, Sheraton Chun, Puma City, Tombani, what the Apoji Marena, Tomba said the Zawan in the Mebachil of Goswayana, and Sure Tonchi Landella so Yonsu Zobadi, Zawan in the Mebazin on the Yonsan Hondore, Techana, and a Kuala and Hore, and Ingo Shoes to the Dogore, say, Tandatis.
So the paragraphs that we have read right now, the actual meaning of this, the paragraph that we have read right now is that not only the non-Buddhists, but even within the Buddhists, if there's something that doesn't exist intrinsically, they shouldn't be exist. It is, if they assert that something that is lack of intrinsic existence, then it is equal to the non-existence. So it is thus, they do not assert that lack of intrinsic existence is not emptiness. It is from their point of view. It is the reason why they are, asserting this is because not being able to understand the actual meaning of emptiness. With that kind of assertion will accumulate tremendous amount of negative karma, so that one will be taking rebirth in the lower realms. Because with such views, because if there is something that doesn't exist intrinsically, then one they believe that it is non-existence. There's no things that exist at all. If things exist, it should exist intrinsically. If it doesn't exist, then if it doesn't exist intrinsically, then it doesn't exist at all. This kind of view is actually denying the existence of law of cause and effect. That it's a really take us to the wrong path, and that actually force us to accumulate a tremendous amount of negative karma that one will be taken rebirth within the Lord realms for a long period of time.
You can hear Tombani la Taniana Sheraton Puma just saying the Tajada, Nada. The Junga to Tombani, Quadi, Yapoti Marina, Tombani singing the Zawani in the Baji Posona, and any called Cheta Hondo and Rodos. Tombani la Taniana Sheraton Puma just the Shunju see in the Machete, Tijin Musaki Tajana, Roa. The Tombani la Tata Yabu Majavayana, Gishira in the Kabayan Dodo Chichena Majana, and the Rani Pongore, Country Pongore is a Lasona, and then Jackie Jotung in Chena, Quachirado.
So here in our Original's fundamental treaty says, if they view emptiness in the wrong way, those of limited intelligence will be ruined. What is meant by that those of limited intelligence will be ruined? If we view the emptiness in the wrong way, we will fall into either nihilism or the eternalism. That is what is meant by those limited intelligence will be ruined.
제발 ranshime ba 또네 디 동반이 동비 천이제 또반에 타니스 동안 면제때 강시 다다 매번조와 대체나 지시 예무질 시 지시 여번절 시에다 한무비 ran신 많이 바시 장 매번이 되 매도베 시송베 쇼로 냐나 데이터 냐나 데네미 리바 마이데 체다와라 강치지 응보 마켈람부 고반네 거나네 지테 장페 빼장 생하시던 레전드 속 마켈라네 시 네바 메마이 대다 드만에 여바 면데베 체다 마인바 타이 조로 대나 먼저다다 메제바 대나 체바 타원지를 시송바네 뭐볼라 랑게 뭐투베 장시 여바 여비 뭐마와라 따치제 따와 되면서원지 유대인데 장신데 장신데 뒤균도 민주와 드만 말에 드나네 따단줄라 하 하마레 뒤하마 유여라 뒤심마 시반드나네 체단주의 시로 디시르 뒤하마 유비 장신 뒤심마 시바 짐비 체단메바 덤바나 뭐 본나라 장게 뭐 주비 장신 뒤장요 케면바 진센도와 인제 체다 탕지 대방바 민노 어서도 양 바타지도 这么落的嘛都差不多的，可是去落呢这些就两三的，落下了去。
So on the other hand, suppose that that you do not deny all phenomena, but then say we have seen the things. How could they be empty? Therefore, an absence of intrinsic existence is not the emptiness, not what emptiness means. In that case, you have definitely abandoned emptiness. After you have abandoned emptiness in this way, you will definitely be reborn in the miserable realms due to these actions of depriving yourself of the true teachings. And Nagarjuna's precious Colin says, further, if they misunderstand this, fools who take pride in their supposed wisdom will destroy themselves by abandoning it, and head first to the unrelenting hells. If we had claimed that there were real things, then later view them as non-existent, then we would have a view of annihilation. However, we do not accept this existence from the outside. There's a annihilated, so as to make this a view of annihilations. For Nagarjuna's fundamental deity says, if you say that what arose before is now non-existence, then that entails annihilations. Thus, Nagarjuna says that such is a view of annihilations. Also, Chandrakirti's clear word says, yogi do not fall to the two extremes if they know that conventional truths, which are produced only by ignorance and lack intrinsic existence, and then know the emptiness of those has the characteristic of the ultimate. They think, how could something which has now become non-existence have existed then? Since they do not agree earlier things as having had intrinsic nature, they do not think that such later become non-existence. Right? This is not reasonable. Your position is that in order to have a view of annihilations, you must assert the earlier existence of whatever things is annihilated later. In that case, it would absurdly follow that even Lokavata proponents of materialism would not have view of annihilations. For this, it is not their claim that past and future lives, karma and its effects, etc., once existed and later become non-existent. They do not accept such having existed in the first place.
되게 된다 대화대 되래 Pena ngonjo tata mejeba kasa ngonjo tata mejeba tene chepa tawa jesi tenta so tere. Pena ndere che ngazo pena shiro jampe pa yinso na yang ini thoma me pa ne yore se de khale ga ma me tsane ngonjo tata me shi de mare. Tanda nambi jong senare ngom hawa tesige ini thon demane chubare ini tata shi bare yo mare sela yundikola ini 좀 demane tubare sala yundikola teme de tuba kelen tata lene ne tanda hi ne me bare se de cheta no re se de de ne nambi cheta ma jila segre dendro de shiru jampe pa yo mare ne tanjo wa ke se sona ne demane tuba ji thomane kelen mare ne ta tere.
So now here, to summarize this, the verse that you have read here is that even the Lokayata wouldn't accept such things that existed, before, but then it doesn't exist right now. Even the Lokawata would not, assert. Now, this, if you say that you are things that exist intrinsically at the outset, but it doesn't exist right now, then you are actually falling into both eternalism and both nihilisms. Because first thing that what you said was one is just accepting that things exist intrinsically in the beginning, but then later on you say that doesn't exist at all. You are denying the existence of that things. So you are actually falling into both extreme views of nihilism and eternalism. So such terrible, wrong views, not even upheld by non-Buddhist philosophers such as Lokayata. It's just that once one accepts the things that exist intrinsically, then you have no doubt but falling into this extreme view of nihilism and eternalism. Once one accepts the things that exist intrinsically and things there's no change at all, because it exists intrinsically, how can it be changed? So therefore, one falls into the extreme view of eternalism. So therefore, the lower philosophical tenets actually accepts that things exist intrinsically. And with this acceptance, suddenly they're, entering into the two extreme views of eternalism, extreme view of nihilism. So if one accepts the intrinsic existence, things that exist intrinsically, then the very term that intrinsic existence entails the things that doesn't have change at all. It has no change at all. So therefore, one automatically, by accepting that, one automatically falls into that the view of eternalism.
맞아 텐데 되거는 뭐주나 대주고 저다진라 되번 게스 뭐세데 나노로 어디로들 사이에 고글로도 수소 뭐행원에 수수 뭐행원에 주고여서나 그 저다진라 되버리세데 겐데 라르마도 뭐행원에 주는 저다진라 되고 진이요마데 켈레바는 가와레스 아니 뭐 수수 뭐 주고래 저다진라 되고래 라이나 아니 깨쳐 베트 겐데레스는 소
So it is therefore the Lama Tsongkhapa's praise to dependent originations, where he has stated that if one accepts things exist by its own side, then one is actually contradicting to the things that exist by dependent upon its own causes and conditions. Because if things exist by its own side, then why should that its own side and intrinsically by its own nature, then it shouldn't be, relying upon its own causes and conditions. There's no reason for that things that exist by its own side should depend upon its own causes and conditions to become that particular thing's existence. So therefore, if one accepts intrinsic existence and also at the same time one accepts cause and effect, then it is completely contradictory. Let's take 10 minutes break here. Again, the test lawyer test new speak checha routine edit local. Lawyer test yeah.
Baby the land member never say about the loss.
Or debate long. Edit test checha. Okay. So I left out almost a paragraph to read earlier. So let me read again. Let me read this. Therefore, when the Nagarjuna said, if you say that what arose before is now non-existence, that entails annihilations. He meant that the proponent of existence who assert that things have an essential or the intrinsic nature will unquestionably have a view of permanence or annihilations. For if they claim that this intrinsic nature never changes, then they will have a view of permanence. If they claim that it once existed and was later destroyed, then they will have a view of annihilations. Madhyamaka do not accept that existence of even the particles of essential or intrinsic nature. This fact proves that they lack one type of view of annihilations, the type in which it's held in the intrinsic nature that once existed and later destroyed. It does not prove that they have eliminated all views of annihilations. That's all.
다 디네 마 가리 연구도인데 연구도 배나 맞춰 배나 쉬러 장배 발라 소바다 예 아니 렌데 때는 매번 되고 와 렌데 때는 매번 되지 엄마 타저 라신 좀 뒤서 매번 되고 와다 주다 마쳐지 이 라신 좀 매는 매 그랬을 때니 쇼지든 전에 아니 엄마 타저 치다 네 그래 니 치다 매바거든 하와데 지바레스네 아니 되게 다 가셔 넘은 좀 신로 가세요디 아니 가셔 야보 뭐면서 엄마 탄저와 치다래 네 그래 생이 상치지려고 엄마 탄저와다 아니 렌델로서 때는 몇 캐닝이 지바레세 아니 같이 인도바데 마테기도 요거.
So now we will be discussing on the other philosophical tenets other than other philosophical tenets, referring to the philosophical tenets other than Madhyamaka Prasangika. So, Lokayata nihilistic philosophers would actually deny even the existence of law of cause and effect. They, completely denigrates even the existence of law of cause and effect. Whereas other philosophical tenets, other than Madhyamaka Prasangika, they do accept, but the way they accept that law of cause and effect, it's intrinsic existence. Whereas Madhyamaka Prasangika doesn't accept intrinsic existence. So having Madhyamaka Prasangika not accepting intrinsic existence, then the other philosophical tenets, other tenets are accusing Madhyamaka Prasangika as a holder of nihilistic views, or the view of permanence and body inhalations.
当然路呀，连着没办对比，切到我的民众以出现呢，其实来就把送的，得到切到我呢，连着当决定怕着没办对了，我们本来得到让些没办对别，当叫我了切把有多，我们把那连着说决定，那么连着说得到连着一笔金钱的让些没办法了。 没把人呢，连着说得到，连着人把面对别，面对别的，人生都没些结，大生间的一点蛤蟆呢，的我的，的那什么做马桶啊，人生的些呢，没办法也，人生七八千，人生七八千的，这些来说，别是我说的，这样我是搞的不。
So in different way, the Madhyamaka are also unlike those who have other types of views, other types of view of inhalation, a view in which it is held that karma and its effect do not exist. This is set forth the linked in Chandrakrita's clear words as follows: Madhyamaka and nihilist have different theses, since those who have a view of inhalations, all the karma and its effect, as well as other worlds beyond this lifetimes, do not exist. Whereas Madhyamaka hold that such things like intrinsic existence, intrinsic existence. Madhyamaka propound that things such as karma and its effects lack intrinsic existence by reason of their being dependent arising. Nihilists do not assert that karma and its effects are dependent arising. So they do not use dependent arising as a reason in support of their thesis. Instead, to support their claim that karma and its effects are non-existent. The reason they give is that living beings who are here now were not seen arriving in this life or this life from a former one, and are not seen living it for a future ones. Hence, there is an enormous difference between nihilist and Madhyamakas in these reasons. Chandrakrita's clear word says.
当我说的了我们探究我也让细节没把开联比金色高是呢，点这一比金色的热些的，我说个对呢，他结果，但这个我马上就得搞不当我说，点这的那日本一节包也是我的，人家金色一出的就嘛，那就点这的话呢，我那呢没比决心的，我就觉得这不一觉得嘛的金色一觉得也送的，金色一觉得，我那呢没比决心的，人家。 点这送把的，点把一送把也也属于比金色的，点这送比金色的热是，那点这也比金色的让心就马主把谁的把从一马上就点来多，我们谈就。
So here the Madhyamaka Prasangikas here now, things doesn't exist intrinsically. to support that non-existence, non-intrinsic existence is supported by the reasoning of dependent originations, dependent existence. So therefore, dependent existence is said to be the king of reasonings among all the reasonings. And it is also said that dependently existence or dependently designated is the incomparable reasonings among all the reasonings. So Madhyamaka Prasanga's standpoint, based on dependent reasonings, based on dependently designated, things doesn't exist. They accept that things doesn't exist intrinsically. They have non-intrinsic existence. Proponent of non-intrinsic existence is based on dependent originations or dependently designations. So here now, not only that dependent originations or dependently designated, it's important to establish one's view of ultimate nature of reality, but it is also important, equally important, even for one's own, day-to-day thinking. If one accepts dependent originations, and one accepts dependent originations and one follows accordingly, then everything one do will correspond to reality.
Barujila nga janglo ji ni nga so number sen na taw tenjum da shoba chewa me ba singete ji shoba chewa me ba je gu bi jin sen de tenjum yin bi jin sen ji shoba chewa me ba je gre se de ni shoba se de nga so da ja chi ni tyje ye tam me che ji rondu shan de sho so kare ye na shoba chewa me ba go de rani yi shi de ki cha chen de no rani shi de ki cha chen yin ba de ni Tendre sana tombe tona ne chetua yin sona jela tendre kelena ko kange dedu kande ji yona ya jeta chegi chenge ji yomba de she yombe kala mubi nesi she be kala ani susu zoba ina gantu gore ani sana ina tontu re chohi ina jetu nge chabura dedi mazo tawa tenjo yin bi jinse ji shoba chewa me ba chegore se de ani tawa tanda ma so tomba ji tawa chikola sana ma tawa che ani sende deshi gi kansa de gi cheba che tunge ji ina ya cheba che ne ni shoba chewa me ba chegore se de tendre la ra linga se de tendre de shu je re do.
So therefore, His Holiness often says that the Buddhist view is the view of dependent originations, and the Buddhist conduct is the conduct that of non-violence. So now, the dependent origination is not only important to establish our view of emptiness. The dependent origination is equally important to have the conduct of non-violence actions, non-violence way of life. Once non-violence way of life is based on understanding of dependent originations, then whatever the circumstances that one may face, whether it be it as a happiness or unhappiness, one will be able to remain, and one will not lose the foundation of reality. If one is able to remain oneself firmly on a reality, and whatever one thinks and whatever one does, which correspond to reality, then one will be able to, be more patient and more, contented.
Teach Jandaba Yushodanga, so then Sosogi Kante Tawa Tinamenting Kante Yena Mina, Terin Reshi Jaguyana, that danger you turn and Reshi Jaswayana, and Sosa Baba Yere, Denso Yere, go you may be Nessi Ton and Jawakayam, but the city, Parrot, where you call Mogoremato, Susala Nutrition, John the Shanaki Chegmaro,
So if one has to share something with somebody, in other words, one has to make some kind of statement or some kind of speech, in other words. If one's statement or whatever the speech that one is giving is based on dependent originations, whether that person upholds a different view, or irrespective of what kind of view that other individual may hold, but so long as your way of establishing the statement, or expressing the statement is based on dependent originations, and one will have one is not actually, one's presentation will not become a fault. In other words, one's presentation will become a flawless.
The number you told them was Jin Jogo the Tenti Tarango Jogura. Also, Bena Jetamo don't do the Tawi, Yonsu Zoba, G. Putu Sandowade, and Jichen Latene Chamber. Kind of legendary thing, the legendary Latin, Mubi Tentage Naja Tomato, and Tabala to meet any Tentage Naja about payment to a channel. Any Tende, the Trutamo was Jin Josita, turn Dodinishona, Tende Taragon. Any ginger you tended about killing it to Tutam, or Mashu the race and Deshi Jona, calling it in Sona, Deshi Drum the Jomo channel, and what the watch.
So the four different philosophical tenets that we have in Buddhism is based on the acceptance of the subtleties of dependent originations, because the lower philosophical tenets such as Vaibhashikas, their dependent origination is merely confined on the dependent originations of cause and effect. And other than that, the other phenomena, they will not be able to establish other phenomena are dependent originations. They will never, they won't accept other phenomena other than cause and effect. They will not accept as a dependent originations or dependently designated.
The Yangobi Jessicaras and the Terra, but Dumba Digi on the Shannon Masotaya Yachasona to Tamo Jichon was there. And Dumbe, Shuji got about 10 years Sunday Jew, 10 young and the Shinjum the Chelmason. Dumbe got country Sonshan, 10 day corner run a job in the Sonsha in that Digi Jess and Rangi, Tawachi, Pringilla, and 10 day Cameron Rosamang in the Giro. Take a daily guess on it, then become a child.
So Buddha's teaching, the teachings the Buddha has given, is all based on dependent originations. And Buddha has not given any teachings that is devoid of presentation of devoid of dependent originations. It is therefore, if one consider oneself as the followers of the teachings of the Buddha Dharma and Buddha's teaching, in other words, and one should, certainly be able to follow the view of dependent originations.
the Rapa Oma share the Tamogama Gama and Jue, you can't watch any Deja range. There, Yang and Deshi, the Shinjum, the Chelaman, any Shua Yang and the Tola, any Kazateta, the Ombi Rimbatan to be Tawagirim, Chara to somebody, Senate, and the Nijing of Algo in Chevro.
So then one may ask the question, why the Buddha actually gave the teachings of different Madhyamaka Prasangika standpoint right from the beginning, from the outset, in other words. Why he has not given this teaching. Buddha is said to be a very skilled teacher. Why didn't he give these teachings in the beginning? So the answer to this question is because when it comes to the individual who is listening to the teachings of the Buddha, their faculties vary. their intelligence are varied. They're different intellect, the capacity of their intelligence. So based on their intelligence, based on their understanding, Buddha has given the teachings in the different views. However, all those views of the lower philosophical views are the stepping stone for understanding the higher, philosophical tenets, the view of higher philosophical tenets.
대체 당연히 단다 거스 봐봐봐. 아니 엄마 타야지 저 하셔도 레전드 문득이 돼서 근데 엄마 탄지가 멘자비 지생 가르잖아. 엄마 탄지하기 된제 켈림비 진센제래. 아니 레전드의 저 하시 캐면에 돼서 라니기 마통 진센데 셴네. 아니 매밤하와 지레마도 지선데 된비 매밤하와지 말레스 개타지.
So here now the argument is the other philosophical other system says Madhyamaka Prasangika is their proponent is similar to the proponent of Lokayata because they do not exist intrinsic existence. So now the answer to answer to this, to respond to this argument is this is not true because Madhyamaka Prasangika, although the Madhyamaka Prasangika accepts non-intrinsic existence, but their acceptance of non-intrinsic existence is based on dependent originations, unlike the Lokayata's nihilistic view. Whereas the Lokayata's view is not only that they reject law of cause and effect, but they reject even the dependent originations across the board. So therefore it is completely different. You can't argue that Madhyamaka Prasangika's standpoint is that of similar to that of Lokayata's standpoint.
대체 다 단지 대응은 인가설로 되게 얘는 시제 치세 롱드체 치세래지 내가 가지서 엄마반에 매방하다 체바 매바 인데 관계식 개와다 매개위래 땅 시바보던 제부당 제때 탕지 장시제 동반하와 인라지 매방마에 장 대담에도 시엠하여와 시바 인비 셔를 엄마반에 매방하다 체바 매도 시고와 시도 대다양 많이데 엄마바다네 땡진저와 중앙하와 인라 땡진저와 중이 실은지 땡대다 제때 파르발 소바 탕지 라지메 바마와 셰도 매밤마와 다겠네 대다 땡진저와 중앙 인비 실 라지 동반이 제고는 제때 파르라 소바 뭐보 매바도 많이데 원하지시시는 제때 대용비 넘버 rangi mine 대단 제때 파르네 대용호와도 제때 대네 파르도 로 마토에 제때 대 미비 뭐보단 자이 뭐보 현다라 그완데 바시바 이노 제송소 와송도 단지들
Some say the Madhyamakas are not different from nihilists. Why? Because Madhyamakas propound that virtuous and non-virtuous action agent and effects, as well as all the worlds of this and other lifetimes are empty of intrinsic existence, while nihilists also propound that those are non-existence. Hence, they argue that Madhyamakas do not differ from nihilists. Such is not the case. For Madhyamaka propound dependent arising and propound that because of being dependent arising, everything this world, other worlds, and so forth, like intrinsic existence. The nihilists understanding that things such as other worlds and beyond this lifetime are not real and not rich via knowledge, and those things are empty of intrinsic existence due to being dependent arisings. What do they claim? They regard that the aspect of things in this world as naturally existence. They do not see them come to this world from other, or going to other world from this one. So they deny the existence of other things, of former and future lives, which are in fact like things seen in this world.
다 가르치고 그러선 다 뒤질 가르치고서나 다 지대 다 렌데도 저만시 캐면에 게도서라 근데 라시 주바 열에서는 요 말이라 그러봤어. 다 오마베 라시 주바 요 말이니 니가 라시 지메고 또 지바레베스 같이 되려.
So then also other sources, both Madhyamaka and the nihilist have a similar assertions of not existing things from its own side, or not existing things intrinsically.
게데 오마바다 치담하와니 진셈 미송바 대다나야지 렌제 당 지된 하시 랑경무 주비 장시 메바 또반 자위 셰르 장시 메바 따와 총소 냐나스 대양 민자데 그 코이스 장시 메바네 예메든 데베 데니 간도양 케면라 오마베네 렌제소 대다 유여바 균조의 캐림비 셰데 치셀레 게데 대다나 게데 대다나 대다나 대다 경무비 아만 알고 치셀레스 디바도 진로로지다.
So even though Madhyamakas and nihilists cites different reasons, their view of the absence of intrinsic existence are the same, because they are like in realizing that karma and its effects, the worlds of past and future lifetimes, like it's essential of intrinsic existence. Reply: even in this they differ. For nihilists hold that the absence of intrinsic existence is utter non-existence, but thus they do not accept karma, etc., as either of two truths. Madhyamaka, however, accept conventionally the existence of the such things as karma and its effects. Chandrakirti's clever says. So the way we reply here is now, there's a big difference between the Lokayata's view and the Madhyamaka's view, because the Lokayatas, not only they do not accept intrinsic existence, but they accept utter non-existence across the board. Whereas the Madhyamaka, though Madhyamaka do propound the non-existence of intrinsic existence, like the things exist, things lack of intrinsic existence, but they do not exist, accept the utter non-existence.
Ranshiji meba ten ranshiji juba ina ten de tegu mare ten de yin chinche la yije nga se ro ten jom senge de tomba ni lo ko jen la ma ten ba meba tomba ni lo ko gori jom se de tanye de yoba lo ko gori se ten jom senge de tu jom so sikron ni ka la ko le de ani tege demba ni ka ten gori song de ro.
So Madhyamaka Prasangikas do not accept across the board that intrinsic existence. So intrinsic existence is completely rejected by Madhyamaka Prasangika. However, Madhyamaka Prasangika doesn't reject that existence of things and event. It is for this, Madhyamaka Prasangikas, when they talk about the Madhyamaka, everything they talk about, things and events are based on dependent originations or pratitat samudbada, which is tenjung. Ten, which is the dependent, entails emptiness of intrinsic existence. And jung entails the conventional existence of things and event. So within these two syllables, combining these two syllables of tenjung establish both ultimate reality as well as the conventional reality.
这讲过了，这样是找到的。那么讲一所有的建设了，电视去年梦到了，中心今天出现电视的，你他年都要把到短短把你个，电个是多，去年是的东把你的电中是的，你他年都有这电的，你两把你个电中是的电个是呢，这讲过了这样是找到的。
Historians often cite these two words. Ten, the dependent entails the suchness, how things really are. And originations entails the existence of conventionally existence.
对的。对那个，我从那么写比较了，过去现在的写个都几十岁，等着一百多个，几百多把劳动者就没接话接的话，电中是的，让你嘛挂起来的，有我比看样话第一电的了，可电中了，可电的可以了，可中啊接着话是个，电中你的实际一电的了，我呢，这是送这的看这样的，用确实嘛的，这看这这些呢，可有去看这些呢。引起没几件没有老外的种种了，就按照着就是带么过去呢，让你一代是是记定的了，但是相当多的，国但是很多。
So now here I am reading through this text about the emptiness of Madhyamaka Prasangika's standpoint, or talking about, we are discussing on dependent originations. So no, I would like to mention this, that not only just simply listening to what I'm saying here and taking for granted, rather you should take a keen interest in examining yourself, investigating yourself, how this dependent originations, accepting the dependent originations, can reject the intrinsic existence. How this is happening. Why, if one accepts the dependent originations, then one should deny the intrinsic existence. So this should be examined by oneself, and how one can actually establish both ultimate reality as well as conventional reality within one locus. How could we establish that? So we need to think deeply about that, just not by listening what I'm saying, but you should examine yourself, and this will actually give you a deeper knowledge.
等着去压国去了，呢，连着生的等着一国看着两个，等呢，让给吃下来等呢，大比等着的些的，呢，等着个吃卡吃两个人，我们谈就一些的，多比大上去等呢，等着起码都一定的主播，再一怎么上去要么的生意，我们谈就生意，他都那路等了别说的，我们谈就生意的人都。这大的看得起来那个人呐，上面的去，你花个啥自己人把钱呢用出来，你涨了没把钱，你涨了，到点了别把等着够了，你就增加别样了说吧，你等着也没把上那当那样，这是的准备上这钱，你到点了别，你让年纪轻的刚年招说呢，现在是没把这钱，你是当年就那边申请银行去等着上那当呢，那等着给两年前呢，让军队出来当，你把钱啥也得等着着。
So, so now, we should think very carefully that when we talk about dependent originations, and think about the dependent originations in terms of law of cause and effect, and dependent origination in terms of cause and effect, in other words, and dependent originations in terms of dependent upon its own, parts, and on its own parts, or dependent upon other factors, in other words, dependent on other factors. Then think about the Madhyamaka Prasangika standpoint of dependent originations, mere imputational existence. Things exist mere imputedly. So this is how we should think about and examine how to have a pure understanding of dependent originations. So for that, then sometime one should come out of this investigations and meditations, and one should then try to meditate or visualize Manjushri, and visualizing Manjushri by engaging in practice of visualization of descending nectars and so forth, and purifying and so forth. And this will immensely help us to be able to understand the dependent origination, particularly the ultimate dependent origination in terms of ultimate reality. And then sometime when we practice compassion, meditate on compassion, then when you can try to come out of the practice of meditation compassion and try to visualize Avalokiteshvara, or the Chenmo, with this kind of meditation practice, will really subdue one's own mind, and will able to implant a positive potency within one's stream of being, so that can become a cause for understanding both ultimate nature of reality as well as conventional reality, conventional existence.
Tendriki ko le de nga zo beba sen ji bian zhe wo ji se gu de ji gen go de ye ci ji kao la den ge sen yin ni zang zang la ni dong ba ni den ye ni xiong de sa la ka tu le de le so na ni xiong la de ne guo le la yang xiong lo gu ma do ci gang ba zang ji de ji ge ma ne an de nyang do la cho sa ji ja ji song zhe che gu la da song zhe che ne ni me se de ne ji nga zo che ba ta ma ji na shi ka len ji ba me de wo qi是吧 가시 조신이 전도 받나 전도 지라 소소소 단다 제투고다 나서 전도게 뒤서 정보진에 제다 전도게 뭐네 전문인 대가나 동반인은 또 손에 상주게 생활하는 요 손등에 남한지에 그거지 정보라고 말하죠 근데 전도게 거지라 델레나게 당한테 새롭게 계시는 문제하게 뭐라 저거래다 델레라지는 델레야지 유행이다 저 가보러 소소는 거지 맞으나 근데 선어도네 zonzala 네 당이 다된 거로 같이 제와이나 근데 zonzala sem발로 뽑아내 기본의 용어로 와 zonzala다 지 전환으로 된 용어로
So when engaging in practice of emptiness, not only just meditation alone on emptiness is sufficient. It requires both reading and studying of the text as well. One should, in other words, meditation and reading the text that describes emptiness of Madhyamaka's view should go hand in hand. And then also this should be followed by the accumulation of merits, by engaging in certain practice of prostration and so on and so forth. And this will then give you, will ripen our stream of being, our continuum, and ready to understand, ready to digest the meaning of emptiness. So this is how we should always, and as the practitioners, we should at least, when it comes to our last day of our life, if one is unable to live this life with delightfully, but one should at least, as a practitioner, have no regret. One should live this life when it comes to the last day of our life. One should live this life without having any regret. That is what we should do as the practitioners. So we're having such a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful time to be able to have receive the teachings from such a great teacher who actually, have this realization of emptiness and bodhicitta. And we are praying and dedicating our mirrors to be able to encounter great teachers in the future. But the great teacher that we have right now, like His Holiness, we will not be able to find better than this teacher now. We have found at this time. So therefore, we should take this opportunity to really think ourselves and having this opportunity to receive such a teachings, someone who has gained those realizations, teachings from someone who has gained those realization of emptiness and bodhicitta. So therefore, this is how we should always, keep and be ourselves, oneself as one's own protector. And this such practice, the combination of practice, will sometimes make us feel happy, or sometimes make us feel some kind of mixture, both happy and sadness. So this kind of feeling should actually should be manifest within one's mind as a practitioner who is who is engaging the practice of ultimate emptiness, and as well as compassion or the bodhicitta. That's all.
Kete teta nao, teta ki ngu pi rangi ngu yo ba mayi ba, ni la, me pa ni to tobi sher reshi tawan de yu kwa ne, tsumba yo to she na, me de, oma pa taki ne, kyunzo to yo ba ke lang bi she la, teta ki ke ma lang bi shir mi tsumba ni to, she song so, de ne, kyunzo to yang, Lendel so ke mene bi oma bando bane jete jampe bata tawan dawa tento dere lobe ji cheba dawa da mera yu jinse to tela kenle yu ba kola mebe she jang na song la teta me bando ba ko ja teta me ba me mai yu ba mai ban de je me song wa Rangé me pa ma wa tang te yi jinse te tenje go ba tang nang ja te nang yo ba kyunzo de xie ba song bi xiao ro wa song.
So the Chanakrit is clear where it says, even so their views are similar in one way, because nihilists consider the absence of an essence in things to be non-existent. Reply, this is not so. They are not similar because Madhyamikas assert that things without essence exist conventionally. This nihilists do not assert them at all. This shows that those who claim to be Madhyamaka yet do not accept the existence of karma and its effects, even conventionally, in fact, have a view similar to that of the Lokavada nihilist. What reason does the Master Chandrakriti give for the difference between Madhyamakas and nihilists? He does not say because they have assertions, whereas we do not. He doesn't say that they assert that those are non-existence, whereas we do not say that they are non-existence. Rather, we hold that they are not existent. Instead, he says the Madhyamakas propound that the karma and such lack intrinsic existence. He said that Madhyamakas cite dependent arising as a reason for that lack of intrinsic existence. He says the Madhyamakas do not accept those teachings or the karma such in conventional terms.
Tini yang mendo waji karasong sana, pena jampi pato se le jene me bache wa ngashi me pa se lagri, la pato tanda we nga tso pyo gen, pyo nolo lo oma pa yin se na re tan, mambo chi ki shidi jo oma bo mambo chi ki, me yo pa ma yin, me pa ma yin se na la dengi mambo chi wa ra. Yin zana oma tangje wa yin, me pa me ma yo pa mendo ba son be, janshi me pa ma gri, tenze yin be jin se ma gri, e son yu di, mepa yinte rangshin che mepa res. Yopa yinte tende yinpi shira sin gugu res. Naja tangche gyunzo de shepa dewe shira, sombi shira sondo a.
So just as the Lokavata, so the Lokayata nihilist, except that things doesn't exist at all across the board. Not only that they do not exist intrinsically, but they're utterly non-existence. And this is the view that is upheld by the Lokavata nihilist. There are also in Tibet who actually claim themselves as a mathematics view, holding a mathematics view. Yet at the same time, when it comes to their proponent, when it comes to their assertion, they assert that things are neither existent nor non-existence, which is completely contradictory to the Madhyamaka Prasangika's standpoint. What the Madhyamaka asserts here is things doesn't exist because they are non-intrinsic existence. Things does exist, but they exist conventionally. So if you compare those assertions among those other systems such as Lokavata nihilist, as well as the individual who claim themselves as mathematics, the holders of the mathematics view, and the Madhyamaka Prasangika, when they examine the way they hold their views, there's a great difference. There's a big difference among their views.
Tanyinga kaunga lawa na matsuti oma pa segi ki tanda oma pa la ranji pa da tanjo ni yobe na ki ta tusa oma pa de oma tanjo se so na ko tawa tena pa yi jinsen ko bi jinsen tanjo sa lawa re ma ta tusa ki oma de oma tanjo oma se de chile kare chen ne gre se so na che ta le ne ga ma re ta ta le ne ga ma re che ta le mene de ni tenje kelen bi shir ani 따다를 말에 따다를 면에대 아니 장시 주가 개면에 비실라다 따치지 타니다 제위 유라는 오마세비 오마텔라 아니 장시지 마주바다 덴데진세 켈레바 이게 아니 지텔라 내게들 오마 탄저와서네 덴저기 또그 따장지 덴젤라 자송에나 오마 탄저와서도 고아 덴들래 줘.
Among the Madhyamaka Prasangikas, the view is said to be supreme among all. In other words, Madhyamaka Prasangika's view is a superior views among all the views, even among the Madhyamakas. Why the Madhyamaka Prasangika is said to be the Umapa, or the middle way, the view, the holder of the middle way view, is because it is in the middle way, not falling into true extreme views of the nihilism and extreme view of eternalism. So it is because it is not fall into the nihilism because they accept dependent originations. The Madhyamaka Prasangika's view is not the view of eternalism because they do not accept things exist intrinsically. They accept non-intrinsic existence. In other words, the tenets who uphold things exist mere imputationally, or the things exist, they accepted their existence are mere imputational, is the Madhyamaka Prasangika alone. There's no other philosophical views, philosophical tenets that is able to assert this mere imputational existence.
哎呀，当然是就是人家，那个他就是你马上是这个了，他开始过，他前年结巴的给特了点呢，你跌到上线，你结巴呢就送啥的给我能手机的东西，你特了点呢，你上线时间他就有结了，你想去给三节，想去三个节呢，你现在给节一节呢，你拉汤住。那拉通给东北人多，那东北写了送这几年就粮食来了，那人不么多吧？那送就搞把你往那个头，那把那小俺让给几个人，那几年把人都能学会，那东北上年来让给直接在一浪面跑的，现在老多数在哪呢？所以别动我们讲了。
Let's do our dedication here by spending our time, the 2 hours of our time, and engaging in receiving the teachings of the Dharma. May all this merit that I have accumulated, and as well as the merit that I've accumulated in the past, future, and present, accumulated by myself and as that of all other sentient beings. May all these merits become a cause for generating bodhicitta and generating shamatha and special insight and wisdom relating emptiness. And finally, to be able to have the unity of wisdom relating emptiness, and shamatha, which then enables one to achieve the state of unity. May I be able to gain the state of unity. I will do my best to the fullest extent of my ability to gain myself, to reach myself to the state of unity for the benefit of all other sentient beings. May all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front before me, please bless me to be able to do this.
大给今年所别给我的，电动着我给我中间的，结果就是路上找不一，天边你不人，日日说所人人，就是没多种，这种你今年的结果的，上街行动面对比我。若干能到行到这波手，结我跟要到了梦到里面去这被了东西，撒当了这有的肉做，多结强给我。人多手也当个肉，面对那个呢。老有爱面，别那人都别那做年的，看到阳光高兴扫把的，老面马的给当着我呢，那人家也红包大酒精，两毛子别菜到更多样，江边养就这边结算的。天别人把跟上浪接住，年年周边见到年些手，让给姐姐多别浪接呢，学着这边张月讨给姐，老爷爷这面包这些呢，家也担保有人成就姐，担保人家说给忙家吧。家家娘把就别说的呢，年纪千百一让就把偏偏带带三话些把说，虽然家也面上听的，来着上去浪就人别讲，他的浪就一路别的心，家园子把人都讲究起。唐僧周边天前出西天， ge jin se ji me da me me ge se ro gun do jia yue ma bo yi nong do long dong zhe wo ma ju ji guang ci tie bo chu la qu xue ji qi jin zhu la zun bo tie yue ci tu dian nang ju dao du zhu xie ji zha xi jiang ci shu you ju ji ju zhe na mian gu ci shao dian ji nang ge chen de shu zhi jiu bo dong 罗桑电别正面扫松节，落叶面色到年久节，光着着月过月心光色，偏当电话毛连永远，今日在我点着找作业，交别身体不。年久节，交别八月接到钱包。更多让我这样的见的，得到感觉就是道路去，给我得到当街老多我，就算西边讲，那姐姐我光那求多我不的，大仙给月找我的跟讲，让我学习老多我。 哎呀，对不起，对不起呢。
Tuche,
Okay.
Rinpoche.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ani sinja no go good night.
Good night.
Yeah.